Nice to meet you all. Hope to see
Bye,
you
Mr.
S.
See you, Mr. S.
I'm
All
Mr.
right.
S.
I love Mr. S. Why are you kicking Mr. S out of the Zoom here? I want more Mr. S. I
He's a
mean,
busy man.
The Stugotz's point.
We're not using any of that.
Oh, we have to, all of it.
I gotta retire.
Oh, he's back.
all right.
So
Unblur him.
Work and retire now. See you later.
Send over Mrs. S whenever you feel like it, okay?
That's not happening.
Yes.
Stugotz's point about the grandkids thing, I found out after I told my family that we were going to have a kid. I found out that every time we invited my parents or my mother-in-law over, especially at the same time, they had secret conversations where, like, do you think they're going to tell us that they're having a kid? Do you think that? And it was like for years they were having this conversation behind our back, just hoping it would be the day that we told them we'd be having a kid. So I think people do have those conversations behind their children's backs.
Every set of grandparents does this, right? Or grandparents to be.
Yeah.
I felt terrible for my brother at his wedding when all of the old people went up to him and was like, all right, marriage today. When are the kids coming? And it just, that societal pressure, for me, it drives me nuts. I almost started yelling at old people at my brother's wedding because it's just like, I don't have to perform all of the perfunctory functions of life. You get married, you have kids straight away, like on your timeline. Listen, I'm going to do whatever I want. Leave me alone. Don't ask me about when having kids.
Why are you so mad today?
Today,
you seem very
right?
angry
He's got a lot of hot
really
sauce in his
angry.
tank today.
What's wrong with, like, after just meeting Mr. S, all I want to do is go have some margs with him in Wrigleyville, you know?
At Hardeen's,
We're
right?
not airing any of that. We can pick up with Whittingham's rant about grandchildren.
No. Listen, me and your dad are best friends. Lewis is saying on the chat here, it'd be great if me and your dad became best friends. And I'm telling Lewis, no, we are best friends, okay? In fact, me and him, Hardeen's, a couple of margaritas, we'll go watch a Northwestern game. I can't wait to meet Mrs. S. I mean, I need friends at this stage of my life. I do. I need more friends. I mean, older friends, preferably.
He's too old for you. All right, I have the poster from my room that I found. I found one poster, Stugotz.
Okay.
There's
All right.
2 football players on it. You guys can try to guess who they are. I think you might be able to get one of them, but I'm pretty sure you won't be able to guess the second one.
Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Wallace.
Big Ben's on that poster, right?
No Big Ben.
Really?
Troy Polamalu.
Charlie
Ooh, great.
Batch.
Charlie.
No Troy, no Charlie Batch.
Jerome
Although
Bettis.
Clark.
I did have a Troy Polamalu Pittsburgh Post-Gazette cut out on my wall.
Greg Lloyd.
Tommy Maddox.
Greg Lloyd.
No, but you guys are on the right track.
Oh,
Greg Lloyd?
Antoine Randall L.
Ooh, Cordell
No.
Stewart.
Oh,
No,
Flash.
but you're getting closer.
Neil O'Donnell.
Le'Veon Bell.
Colder.
Santonio
All right.
Holmes.
No,
Oh,
it's early 2000 Steelers.
Joey
Early to-
Porter.
Ooh, peasy.
Stallworth and Swan.
James, was it James
Very
Harrison?
warm. Very warm.
Ooh.
Very warm.
Bradshaw.
Very warm.
Bradshaw's on it.
Still
Bradshaw?
warm.
Yo, you can't wait. What's my man that had the immaculate reception?
Franco
Franco
Harris.
Franco Harris.
Franco.
No, but that's a good guess. Still
Rocky
warm.
Blyer.
Wait, why do you
Still
have
warm.
why do you have posters of people that played before you were alive
Because
by
the
decades?
Steelers are a traditional organization. When you buy into Pittsburgh
That's
Steeler
weird.
fandom,
Because my
you buy
grandpa was
into
like
the tradition.
100 years old and had all these like Steelers artifacts, like this glass that I'm drinking coffee out of that is probably from like 1975.
Mean Joe Green.
There you go. That's one of them.
Wow.
Jack Lambert.
Yeah.
No, but you're not
What?
gonna get the other one. He played in the 60s.
Oh.
It's the 1987 Pro Football Hall of Fame poster for the Steelers.
You're going to have to unblur
It
your
has-
background, Jess.
Yeah.
We can't see it.
Absolutely blurred.
It looks
Christ.
great.
I don't know if I can unblur that.
It
easy.
looks like it's in Witsec,
Jess,
the
Jess,
poster.
We can't see it.
This is not
see it.
working.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, no one can see it anyways. I can only hear it.
That looks like Ben Roethlisberger.
It's John Henry Johnson and Mean Joe Green.
It looks like
Oh,
you're holding
wow.
up porn, and we're on
Yeah, right.
we're on
Right,
network
right.
television.
Right.
John Henry Johnson sounds like a president.
It looks
Yes,
like
he's a fullback.
you're definitely holding a poster with nudity on it based off how it looks in the Zoom.
Yeah.
It's like extremely pixelated.
Wait, why is that the poster you have? Like, what?
I don't know. It was on my wall. It was a Steelers poster. It's cool. It is
Right.
kind of cool though, because this is from the 80s, so it's kind of got like this vintage 80s look. Probably could sell it for at least $5 now.
Well, what were the posters on your wall that you didn't find, that you could not find when you went back there to search?
I had Derrick Rose. I definitely had like a lot of every Steelers thing from the 2005 Super Bowl. I had Whitty, you would appreciate this. I had a ton of international soccer posters on the wall. Like I had like Ronaldo, Messi, like everything from like the early 2000s, 2010s. I loved the German team because I used to play FIFA and I always was German.
Mannschaft.
Yeah, Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Oh,
Oh,
Miroslav Klose.
Close.
Yes, Michael Ballack was my favorite. I loved.
What a player. What a player.
I mean, he was just such a man.
World Cup
Anyway,
2006 was amazing.
What does that mean?
FIFA 2006 was
Bollocks.
incredible. So yeah, it was a lot of soccer players, Derrick Rose, a lot of Steelers players, and like Brady Quinn, and that's probably it.
I have a question for you as a Steelers fan that I've always wondered, and by always wondered, I mean I thought about this morning. So the terrible towel, do you like always? I'm assuming you've had terrible towels in your lifetime.
Several.
Okay, so that was kind of my question. Do you like replace the terrible towel, like if it gets like old and like it starts to smell bad
If it
and
gets
it's falling
terrible?
apart? Or like do you keep a terrible towel forever and it's kind of like sacrilegious to replace a terrible towel?
It's not sacrilegious to replace it, but you have to pay attention to which towel you're using for which game. So if one towel,
What?
so like my Grammy had like an original terrible towel from like the 70s, which was just an actual towel that she dyed gold. It didn't have like any writing on it or anything.
Well,
Is this
Hold
Gammy
on.
Gam Gam?
Grammy.
Grammy. Oh, not.
Grammy,
This
yeah.
isn't the one
Right.
that was. Okay.
Your Grammy making her own terrible towel is not an original terrible towel. It's one your Grammy made.
But the original ones were just people's like, towels that they made. Like they didn't brand it yet. This was like back in the day, manufacturing, Billy, wasn't the same as what it is now. You can order something on Amazon and have it made in 5 minutes.
Oh,
This
thank
was
God
an
for Jeff Bezos.
original terrible towel. So she had that one, and that one got really ratty over the years. But then like we had a couple other like older ones. But you got to pay attention to which towel you're using for which game, because if they win that game and you're using that towel, like you can't replace that towel. That's your good luck towel,
Until they
Witty,
lose.
potentially. But they never lose.
But I feel like you want like a ratty, terrible towel.
Yeah,
Like,
you want a terrible towel.
Exactly,
You do.
right?
Right.
What is the
Right.
origins of them calling it I don't want this story. Just I want a terrible towel.
Why'd you
I
abort?
want-
What happened
No,
there? You were
because
interested and then you weren't
No,
interested
Jess is
anymore.
gonna
What
do
happened there?
Jess is going to do a 3-minute Steelers history lesson, and I was going to be bored by it, so I just decided to get ahead of it.
Lady's on fire today.
You wanted a quick answer and realized you weren't getting one.
Jeez.
On fire.
Suffice it
You
to
were in
say,
some kind of mood today, Whittingham. Jesus.
suffice it to
I
say,
was just gonna tell you the basic answer too, which
Okay.
is that there was this famous Steelers broadcaster named Myron Cope who like started the whole thing and it became a tradition. That's it. That's all you need to know.
okay, but why is it called terrible?
Yeah, no, we need more than just that. That's
Alliteration.
barely
No, go
scratching
ahead.
the
No, okay. I
surface.
decided I'm not going to be bored by this story. Why is it called terrible?
Fake your excitement. I want to see you do it. Okay.
He leans in.
Like there's not that much more to it. There was like a playoff game and he told everyone to bring like a gold or yellow towel to it and wave it, and then it became known as the terrible towel. And
What
then
a
the Steelers
request. Like
started
people just
selling
gonna
it.
find yellow towels somewhere?
Imagine.
No, Grammy
Yeah,
had
that's
to
what
dye
Grammy
it.
did.
Yeah.
I'm jealous that a radio broadcaster ever had that sort of power. Because in 2022, if I said anything into an AM radio station, no one would ever no one would ever do a thing that I would ever do. And so I'm kind of jealous of a time in which the AM radio broadcaster had that sort of sway over people, created a
Yeah.
cultural tradition in Pittsburgh.
Well, it was like the local sports radio guy used to be such a powerful. I mean, in New York, you still kind of have it, maybe with like the Pope, right, Stugotz? But
No, I mean, he's retired. You have it.
That's
He's
true.
been replaced
He
by
has a
Craig
podcast.
Carton and Boomer Esiason,
yeah, but I guess maybe that's the end of that era. Like the local radio person used to be the only way you'd hear the game, and so they became like your only connection to actually, knowing what was going on with the team, because everything wasn't on TV yet.
Wait, I'm surprised to hear this. Like Whittingham, because you love local radio, and you loved many of the personalities down here in South Florida, whether it was Jim Mandich or I guess Hank Goldberg. Are you maintaining that the local radio host is dead or is dying a slow death? What are you alleging here?
What I'm
Because
saying is
I feel like local sports radio is still strong in many markets.
I question if a sports radio station could ever have the sort of influence to like basically say, hey, we're all going to do this thing. let's all do it. You guys did it back in 2006, right? With the Dirk Nowitzki, David Hasselhoff thing, where like the radio station gave out the David Hasselhoff faces and chanted David Hasselhoff when he was taking free throws back in 2006. Like that sort of thing. Maybe this exists in other markets, and I do agree. I think like regionalized sports content is really important. Podcast and radio, I think it still plays a valuable role. I don't think it's like that level of influence. Like, I couldn't imagine like if I were a play-by-play broadcaster for a team and I said, hey, next home game, we're all showing up with teal towels for the Miami Dolphins. Like 3 people would do it. Like I couldn't imagine getting an entire stadium full of people to actually do something that I said on the team's radio broadcast.
I think you're right, and it makes me sad. It does. Because there was a time where a local radio station could drive an entire market to do something.
Oh, man.
In fact, I think the Rats with the Panthers back in 97 was driven by local radio hosts.
Stugotz,
So I think you're right.
Do you remember when you could just set up a remote from a car wash and people would show up? They would show up excited. Oh, my God. They're out in the streets.
Yes. Listen, no one loved a good remote more than me. No one hated them more than Dan. No one loved them more than me. A good remote from a car wash or like a local car dealer or like the quarter deck. Nothing better.
I remember the first time
than a live radio show from Shula State 2.
I remember the first time I was asked to do one when I worked at 790. I had to drive an hour to get to a T-Mobile store in Delray Beach. It's as if they gave me the best assignment in the world. I was like, wait a second. I'm going to go, and then I'm going to call over the phone the host who's on the air at the time, be like, hey guys, out at the T-Mobile station on Delray and wherever, come join us. The $7.90 the ticket prize wheel is here. You can come get some T-shirts. And for me, it was like the greatest thing ever. It's like, holy shit, there's going to be 3 people that show up that are excited to see me. Oh my God. The
and not only that, 3 people, maybe, if you're lucky, they show up. My experience with those were there just happened to be 3 people there. And they would spin the wheel because there was a free prize with the wheel, you know?
Yeah.
The first time I met Chris Whittingham was at an Edwin Watts golf shop in Doral.
Yes, I remember this.
We were on a remote, and I was working promotions at the time, like trying to get my foot in the door in radio. And they sent Chris Whittingham, and we stayed there for like 3 hours, and not a soul walked by.
And it was at the time, the golf tournament was happening at what is now the Trump Doral. I don't think it was the Trump Doral back then. It was just the Blue Monster at Doral. And it was during the weekend of the golf tournament. There is a golf store that is, I shit you not, 5 blocks away from this golf course, and nobody showed up. I think Tony and I must have taken like 60 swings of a 6-iron towards a golf simulator. That's what we did the entire time we were there, because nobody showed up.
But you got paid for it. I mean,
it was great.
I don't think I did.
Promotions.
Jess, what are you holding up there? What are we looking at?
Oh, no, it's
My trophy.
God. It got blurred out for a second.
I mean, I do miss a good remote from a good gas station. I mean, Roy, what is the saddest place we've been? Because Roy has been to some sad effing places. Like, really.
It must have been one of the car dealerships, I think.
Well, Roy,
Ed Williamson's the one that sticks out to me because we had to do a 3-hour show from Ed Williamson, and LeBatard bailed about 90 minutes in.
Did he really?
It was just so sad. And I put him in such a bad spot. I did, because we all know the last place Dan wants to be is out in public. I mean,
but Roy, didn't you used to show up to those not as an employee, but as someone who wanted to meet the show?
Yeah, I did. I went to the one at the Hooters. That was one I went to, and there was the one at a hotel. I think the one at the hotel was the very last one Dan did. It was in like Fort Lauderdale or so.
Wait, so they had like a desk and the signage behind them?
Yeah,
and everything?
yeah. 7:90 a.m. the ticket behind them, and it was great. I went to a couple events as a show fan as well. I used to listen to the show when I was like in high school.
Yeah.
So I showed up to like one of these events. I was like 18 years old. I was like the youngest person there by 20 years.
How many people were there in the crowd?
Probably like 200 people.
Really?
Yeah, it was like an event. Wow. It was like we're all going to a Dave & Buster's after the show, and it was like some sporting event. It might have been like the finals or something.
I mean, we used to pull like really big crowds at our remotes, and certainly at our parties after the show. We actually stopped doing remotes. Roy is right, and just started doing after show parties because that was the only thing that Dan was willing to do. But early on in the show's history, I assumed, like, we started a whole new radio station.
Right.
And doing a weekly show from Shula Steak 2 down in Miami Lakes.
Oh, this was
like a big deal because it was something that Hank Goldberg did every single week. And so the fact that we were able to steal that business for me, now I didn't know Dan that well at the time, so I didn't know how upset he would be. But the fact that I was able to pry away that weekly spot at Shula Steak 2 from Hank Goldberg and Jim Mandich, get them out, get us in, get the dollars involved with us being in there, was a thrill to me because I had unseated Hank Goldberg, and that was Hank's seat. In fact, it said Hank's studio over the Shula Steak 2 studio that they built for him. It was Hank's house. And we tore it down, and it became LeBatard's house, except LeBatard didn't want that to be his house, okay? He wanted that to be the furthest thing from his house. And I remember about a month in, he said, here's the deal. Shula Steak 2 or me.
Well, Stugotz,
I chose Dan.
This is good choice. This is news to me. I thought it was like the promo that you do every once in a while. You guys had a weekly remote?
Yeah, weekly. It was great.
That's insane.
I know.
Why? Because they pay you a lot of money.
This is the place that hosted every Sunday the trivia challenge with Defo. I mean,
Def
Still does, I think.
Hank has to absolutely hate you. Absolutely hate you.
He does.
Why?
You used to produce for him. You
Yeah.
left him for the person that he hated the most.
Right.
You went up against him time for time. And
Yeah.
then you went out of your way to steal a studio from him at a steakhouse for
Hank's
no
house.
reason other
Right.
than to take Hank's out. Like, what did Hank do to you?
Well, listen, he didn't put me on the air enough. I mean, and he was very mean to me. So, I mean, I don't care if he hates me. I don't think he hates me, Billy. I think he's happy.
I think he hates
No.
I think Hank hates you.
Put it on the poll, Billy. Does Hank Goldberg hate me? Okay. I mean, but listen, the reason I hired Dan was because you're right. Billy's right. Hank, towards the end, started doing his entire show on Dan's column every single day without ever asking me to bring Dan on. And it infuriated Dan. I know it infuriated Dan. And so, but I also thought to myself, without reading Dan's columns, wow, if Hank's going to do a show every day on Dan's column, that seems like a guy I need to hire. And so I hired the guy that was going to make it hurt the most for Hank Goldberg. And Billy's right. I went with Le Batard. And I put him out of a job. Maybe Hank does hate me. I don't know.
I like how you arrived at that.
And a studio at a steakhouse.
I also like that
Hammer.
Jessica is learning about this for the first time. Jessica, do you not know that Stugotz started the radio station? 790?
No, I don't know any of this. This
Okay,
was like
this is a
back
crazy
in the 80s when this poster was printed.
Dude, this is a
It
crazy
was
ass story.
2005, Jessica. Okay,
It's a-
this is when
So long
this is when
ago.
Tommy Maddox was quarterback in the Steelers.
No, it was Ben Roethlisberger. He was drafted in 2004, but nice try, Witty.
Mike Tomczak.
I was
Jerome
rooting
Bettis,
for
the
Tommy
bus.
Maddox so hard because of the XFL. I really wanted him to work.
Yes,
Same.
him
I mean, do you
and,
want to go ahead
what-
and tell that story? Or
what was-
what?
Oh, well, no,
And
I
I
wanted
love that you know that story, the fact of me hiring Dan.
No, the story is incredible because the first person to tell me the story was actually George Sedano, aka Fourth Quarter George,
radio
9 to 11.
historian George Sedano.
who, by the way, chimed in yesterday and told me that it wasn't. He didn't give that nickname to himself. It was Jamie Eisenberg who gave him that nickname. So,
Oh my God.
Fantasy expert.
Yeah.
but
Debatable.
Well, you know what? I have beaten him in two of our last 3 fantasy football league championships.
Jamie
Oh, you
Eisenberg?
have too? Because he's in one of my leagues, and
Yeah.
Inferno takes him to school every single year. I mean, seriously.
I don't think I
expert
have
boost.
greater life achievements than beating a fantasy football expert twice in 3 championships. It's the best.
But you know, there's no such thing as a fantasy football expert. They're
I mean,
all
there is
guessing.
no, but he's like, hey, I know the third string running back on the Broncos that you can pick up in 2 weeks' time when this guy gets injured. Like, there is a lot of information to ingest about fantasy
enjoy
football,
eighth
and he
place,
knows
you know?
and can explain all of it. But doesn't mean he beats me in the champ. He had a great team, by the way. I took down the dragon of our league, and it was unbelievable.
My favorite part about Sedano's rebuttal is that he sends me a screenshot of Jamie Eisenberg tweeting, "I'm personally offended by this. No one could stop fourth quarter Sedano." Now, the funniest thing is Jamie Eisenberg tweeted this in reply to someone asking Izzy Gutierrez, who's the best basketball player you've ever guarded? And Izzy said John Crotty.
By the way, I hired Sedano too. I mean,
So tell the story, as far as you understand it.
That Stugotz got in with a person with means, with lots of money, who wanted to start a sports station. And so they just started throwing money around and created this rival. WQAM was the establishment. And so here comes the ticket with Stugotz and this money guy who rented out the Versace mansion and threw a party. And Eli Manning showed up on time and no one was there.
Joel Feinberg was his name. He was a real estate guy.
He hates you too.
He owned the station. And I am certain, listen, if Hank Goldberg doesn't hate me, Joel Feinberg does, okay?
Stugotz burned through all his money, Jess. The guy literally went broke.
Multi-millionaire to
well, wait, hold on a second.
Yes, he did.
Hold on a second, in fairness to me, okay? It was the Super Bowl week. The Bears were down here playing, I believe, the Colts. Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl. It was Bears-Colts, Prince at halftime. And I told Joel, hey, let's just go get a shack at Fort Lauderdale. We'll broadcast from there. We'll do all the shows from there. We'll destroy the house. We agreed. He thought it was a good idea. And he came back to me 5 days later with a contract for the Versace mansion for a week. I mean, that's not what I wanted. And he told me to monetize it. He threw the contract on my desk. He said, monetize it. I said, did you sign the contract? I'd like to review it first. He said, it's already signed. Go monetize it. I'm like, how do you monetize a house? Like, what do you want me to do with it? But it was a great week. Like, I slept in the house. Kanye West rented a room. I passed Kanye while I had to go to the bathroom one morning. He said hi to me. I said hi to him. I mean, it was amazing. It was a fun week. That also put us out of business. I mean...
Well, you're doing just fine to put him out of business.
He's doing just fine as well, I think. I hope.
He went to jail.
Wait,
that was while he owned the station, Roy. I mean,
how do you go to jail?
What is going on?
I think he's out now, Roy.
He's coming for revenge, Stu.
Fuck.
This story. This is not a good story.
No. I would not write that story.
You guys can't see his face because he's pointed away from the Zoom.
This is very, very problematic. I don't like this.
His brow is furrowed. He's squinting. It looks like he's in physical pain.
Whitty, it's not a good story. It's not a story you share on there.
He's gasping. He's aghast.
So, what are your thoughts on who's the last big free agent left in NBA free agency right now?
I like how last free agent left, even though it hasn't started. It doesn't start.
I know
tomorrow.
It's all done.
Done.
Luka Doncic and Goran Dragic had fun at this. It's like, well, it'll cost me $100,000 if I tell you, but yeah, Goran Dragic is going to be a Mav.
They tried to play coy in the press conference, and they giggled, and they looked at each other, and they looked away. No, the big domino, who it says he's going to sign an extension, he's going to re-up with them. But Bradley Beal is the guy that it's still not over till it's over, right? If you're one of these teams like the Miami Heat, you're looking at Beal and saying, just get me to June 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and
without having signed the extension, right? Because that's the big thing. Is that do Washington give him the full freight?
They will. Will he take it? Is the question. And I was talking about this on the radio the other day about how when it comes to Bradley Beal, a lot of other stars in this situation, they say, well, I gave you the best years of my life. I'm going to leave now, right? And I'm going to take less money as a result. And I said, I don't think Beal's going to do that. And my co-host asked why. And I said, all the other guys we talked about in the past who've done this, they've made a considerable amount of money away from the court, right? LeBron, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, all these guys were making money away from basketball one way or another, whether it's a shoe deal, whether it's a potato chips endorsement, whatever it is. Bradley Beal is not someone who makes money away from basketball. I mean, I'm sure he makes a little bit of stuff here and there, but he doesn't have a James Harden $200 million Adidas contract, for instance. He is pretty much most if not all of his compensation comes from playing basketball. So when presented with 5 years starting at $42.7 million, that's going to be a hard one to pass up, I think, for him. I think that it comes out to a difference about $70 million between if he signs somewhere else for 4 years or he stays in Washington for 5 years. But again, if you're the Miami Heat, if you're one of these other teams that has been waiting for a while, like the only thing you can hope for is like just get us to Thursday and let us give you our pitch.
But I mean, is he even that guy? Like, if you're Washington, do you want to lock yourself down to
Yes.
5 years of Bradley Beal? If you're another team, is he the second guy or even primary guy that helps you to a championship?
I think he's the second guy anywhere, even Washington. But Washington, because their cap situation is pretty good, like they don't have any terrible contracts, it won't be that hard to like fit someone else in there with him once you do that. As far as another team, yes, you'd want to already have someone established. So Miami would be a great place for him to come, as far as being something that the Heat need, which is another kind of big-time scorer, a great shooter, and then he fits into a system where there's defense to kind of subsidize him and all. There are a bunch of other places I think he'd fit in, but in any case, I think you're right, Whitty. He'd be the second best player on the team. But Washington can afford to pay him that because it's not like they're the Knicks where they're also paying Julius Randle and Evan Fournier and all these other bums.
I mean, does it stand to reason that even if you're a team like Boston, if Kevin Durant is out there, if he truly indeed is available, like don't you start considering like just crazy scenarios like Jaylen Brown? Like that's the upgrade of upgrades right now, Kevin Durant, right? And if you can make your team better, even though you're already good, like if you're the Bucks, right? And it took Chris Middleton to get Kevin Durant back, isn't that something you'd consider?
Yeah, I just don't think Durant would consider it. That's the thing. It's like,
really?
Yeah, because I think Durant, the whole reason he's here, Stugotz, is because he wanted to be the reason. So going to Milwaukee to join forces with Giannis, going to Boston to join forces with Jason Tatum, I think all of those kind of scenarios, it takes him back to where he was in Golden State, where even though I'm the best player on the team, people are all just saying, yeah, but it's really these guys that are responsible. I think, if anything, Miami's different in that none of these guys are homegrown, at least none of the guys on the high side where you talk about Jimmy Butler. Like, he's not homegrown either, so it's not a big deal. It's not the same as going to a franchise like Golden State with Curry, like Milwaukee with Giannis, like Boston with Tatum, where those guys were drafted and they grew up on these organizations and the fan base loves them and adores them.
Yeah, because I consider giving up like anything I would have to give up. And I understand what you're saying. He wants to be the reason now. He's now realized, like, yes, I want to be the reason my team wins the championship. I don't want anyone to poke holes in my game, poke holes in my resume. And he has a few years left to try to get that done. So I guess what you're saying is it makes the most sense to go to a team like Miami because they've fallen short 2 out of the last 3 years, and he could be the thing that takes them over the top, or just stays put in Brooklyn, let them get rid of Kyrie. Hopefully they replace him with players that are good enough, and those players combined with KD and Ben Simmons win a championship for the Brooklyn Nets.
I got to throw a flag on the play here.
What?
We got to stop because Lewis has just discovered some sort of blog entry about 790 the ticket, and the quote is, Le Batard spends every afternoon singing moronic songs about various sports celebrities. He invites the listeners to call in and sing songs about sports celebrities. He has Greg Cody, pictured above. He's the guy who looks like a chipmunk, also on the station regularly, and they sing songs to each other. Cody used to review movies at the Miami Herald, but is now some kind of columnist there. Stugotz is Le Batard's sidekick.
I got to mention.
You missed the line after that, which says, at $7.90 the ticket, John Wiener is also the program director, general manager, and probably cleans the toilets.
Oh, wow.
I did. No, I did. It was very problematic. Like, I would spend my day telling other shows what not to do, and then I would go on the air with Le Batard and do exactly what it is I told them not to do.
I thought you were going to say, I would tell them what not to do, and then I'd say, hold on, the urinal cakes need to be refreshed.
You do what you got to do with me.
Stugotz has like the janitor outfit on, a big ring of keys on his hip.
And then, God rest his soul, I put Jim Mandich out of business. But I love it. Mad dog.
Wait, what?
I mean, we did, Bill. I don't know what to tell you.
Why didn't you just take a victory lap over Jim Mandich? He passed away.
You didn't put Jim
I
Mandich
feel
out
like
of
taking
business.
victory laps today. I don't know.
You put him out of
I'm
business?
proud of what we've accomplished,
Stugotz, you put Jim Mandich out of business?
Well, I mean, they thought Jim Mandich would be a more suitable replacement to kind of go up against us because he had Captain Curtis. Okay?
We held a parade for
It's on
him.
your top 5 list of producers.
Captain Curtis is on my top 5 list of producers, and Jim Mad Dog Mandich is on my top 5 list of local sports radio hosts of all time. And so, but I got some degree of pride taking those. They were
Icons.
legends down here in the market, and no one believed in me and Le Batard. They didn't think we had a shot. And so to be able to take those two guys, icons in South Florida sports history, to be able to take them out, to outrate them inside of a couple of years was something that felt really, really good to me. I mean, I say all this respectfully. I love Jim. I love Hank. I do. I mean, Hank gave me my
Rest in
first
power.
opportunity in this business. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you it wasn't, I didn't get any sort of satisfaction of having higher ratings than they did. Of course I did. I'm competitive.
No, it's not that you got higher ratings. It's that you put them out of business, Stugotz. You're a
Well,
revelation.
cancer put Jim Mandich out of business.
I also put a lot of people in business. I mean,
Life put Jim Mandich on business. Exactly.
No, you guys are cold-blooded,
Goodness
man.
me, what is happening?
Cancer put Jim Mandich out of business.
Wait,
Life.
you're the one who came in here so hot this morning, ranting at all of us about how much you hate pungent foods and gave us the worst top 5 list of all time.
It's the vinegar, yeah.
Tony,
you guys
by the
have
way, Tony has a better one. We've been working on it.
wait, so you two worked on it together? The two of you? All right, can I get Mr. S's top 5 list as well? Can we bring him
Mr.
back?
Mr.
No?
S is gone. Mr.
Oh,
S,
that's too
Mr.
bad.
S
That's
will not
really
be
too
coming
bad.
back.
Listen, I got to be honest. I haven't stopped thinking about Mr. S since he left. I mean,
You gotta be honest about that, huh?
Can I?
he might replace Tony.
Can I
anyway,
make-
you
can-
guys ready?
Can I make one quick point about the state of radio before Jess gets to her top 5? The other thing that helped put
Yes.
some of the older time radio personalities out of business, as it were, was the change from the diary measurement system to the PPM measurement system. Imagine this. There was once a time when we determined who got radio listenership based off of what people wrote in a notebook. It said, I listened to this show from this time to this time. And that is how the entire system was based. And the second they moved from that system to electronic measurement of radio listening, the entire industry changed.
That is true. Neil Rogers went from the highest rated show in the market to the lowest rated show in the market just because they changed the measuring system for rating radio.
This is from that same blog entry about George Sedano. George Sedano has done some odd shows, including a very annoying overnight show where he had a sleazy female co-host, and they would talk trash about
Christ.
sports all night long. Unfortunately, 790 The Ticket seems to like trash talk on the radio, and Sedano found a home. I do not listen to his show much, but he seems to have some potential for intelligent discussions and occasionally analyze sports.
Does it call him fourth quarter George?
He does not, but then he goes on to praise Jonathan Zaslow, the producer for
Zaz.
Sedano and Book Shambi. Zaslow often is given some time on the radio, and he usually does a good job when he's doing a fill-in show.
Zazzlo's burner.
Oh, wait, Book Shambi looks kind of scary.
Oh wow.
He apparently has a weight problem, has to go to
Oh,
some kind
God.
of fat form
What?
every year to
Can
lose
we,
weight.
Wow.
can we not read blog posts from
Oh.
15 years ago on the internet, please? Jessica, top 5
Especially the portion with
list.
Sid Rosenberg. Don't read that.
What can be
Jessica,
said about
top
Dan Le
5
Batard?
pungent foods.
Number 5, rye bread.
Tony, we're not putting. We agreed
Rye
not to put
bread?
rye bread on the list.
Rye bread, anytime you taste it, all it is rye bread. It's horrible. It's the worst.
Especially seeded, especially
Oh,
the
God,
seeded
the
rye
worst.
bread. Oh, it's disgusting.
Oh, I hate
I'm
it.
with Tony on this. Yeah.
Number 4, raw onion.
I thought this
Raw-
was Jessica's list.
Raw onion.
Oh, we collaborated
We
on it.
collaborated, but clearly Tony just made it his own list.
Oh, I just made, whatever.
Raw onion put Billy in a hospital, right?
I don't need to get into that.
Okay.
Number 3, blue cheese.
I like blue
Hold
cheese.
on. When you dip a chicken wing into blue cheese, you don't just taste blue cheese.
Of course you do.
It's the
Have you
initial
ever had
burst
like
of
have you ever
flavor,
had
but
like a
then-
Stilton amine? A Stilton cheese?
Oh, I had a
Some-
Stilton amine. I was like, what is that? I've never heard of those. No, I haven't.
Wait, but you like blue cheese, Tony, don't you?
No, I don't. I don't
I
eat blue
love
cheese
blue
whatsoever.
cheese.
All I eat is ranch with wings.
Wait, you guys worked on this list together, but you love blue cheese. Jess hates blue
But
cheese.
I like pungent foods.
Okay.
This isn't pungent foods I don't like.
All right.
Number 2 is Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
Why did you collaborate on a list if neither of you agree to it?
Oh, we both agreed on it.
No, we
Yeah,
didn't.
list.
Tony just kind of did his own thing without telling me, so that's fine.
Number 1 is tuna.
I mean,
Good
no,
shout.
no, hold on.
Canned tuna.
Hold
No,
on.
it's a good shot.
Evil.
Hold
no,
on,
canned,
no,
canned
no,
tuna,
no,
I'm
no, no,
100% with
no,
you.
Canned
The
tuna's
smell is overwhelming. Never mind the taste.
Here's the problem. You guys are just, when you name tuna, you're naming a main event. It's not stealing the show. It is the show.
Right.
Like,
right.
the idea is
right.
like
if you made a
things-
tuna sandwich, you want to taste the tuna.
Yeah, you're
Right.
not eating a garlic sandwich or a blue cheese sandwich or anything other, a jalapeno sandwich. Those things are all just kind of accoutrements, but they steal the light, right? They're like, no, it's about me. I'm not just a side piece. I am the main piece, right? But when you say tuna is the main. Your list is terrible.
Right.
We
it's like
collaborated on it.
Well,
It was a collaborative
I
work.
also put hard-boiled eggs on it, and Tony took that one.
Oh, I didn't read that one. Sorry.
But Amina's so right. It's like putting steak on there.
Yeah. Like, oh, this steak tastes too much like steak. I can't even taste anything else. All I taste is
Right.
steak. Of course.
I didn't want
Let's
steak.
hear yours, Amin. Let's hear yours. Oh, so high and mighty over there. I can't even see a list on yours.
I'll give you my list after the break.
Look at you.
Paying off that tease.